OLIGHT new torches. Now I have for close to a decade been very happy with the Nightcore brand of torches, and got the feeling that they kind of lost interest in sending me some of their newer products. Many of you will remember the review I did on this guy here. It's the tiny monster. It's no longer made by them, but I called it the Sun. Watch this. I'm going to call it the Sun. And in my inventory of flashlights, I need a head torch or two, general purpose torch or two, small lanterns that you can place in different areas for general lighting, and they're portable, you can put them anywhere, and then a tactical, I suppose it's the right word, tactical light, something really hefty, powerful, which will be used for, I suppose, animal watching, perhaps security. And they've sent me the Marauder 2, and this is the first time I'm looking at it, so you're sharing this with me as I do this. And this is it here. That's beautiful. Wow. Now supposedly we'll actually replace this one. It's quite a bit more compact. I've decided that in fact these I've still got the sets of, and I'm going to be actually sending these to Africa, so they will equip my Africa vehicle, and these will be the replacement for my Australian rig. And of course I'm going to test them tonight when it gets dark around here in the forest. I will give you a little demonstration of how well they work, how to use them. You know, I think I might actually read the instructions, because modern flashlights are, this is a 14,000 lumen. Wow. And the reason why I asked for this particular one is that I wanted something that will give me a good range and be able to give me a broad spread as well in one unit. So that was my reason for selecting the Marauder 2. That's beautiful. The other one is this guy here. This is the Seeker 3. It's 4200 lumen. General purpose. Wow, that's nice quality. The reason why I went and they contacted me, and when they did I thought, hey, it's a perfect opportunity, because I know a number of people that rave about them. I thought, hey, I've got to give them a try. Really nice. And of course these are rechargeable. These are my Nightcore set, also rechargeable, but the batteries are separate. They're not chargeable in the torch itself, except for one of them, one of the later ones. I like the idea of being able to put them in the vehicle somewhere and just grab them and not actually have to think too much about the recharging. They're charged because they're mounted in the car. So that was quite an important upgrade for me. And then there's this guy here, which is the Obulb. Now these, unlike the Nightcore LR10 that I really like, they are also, is that magnetic? Yes, it's magnetic. Okay, again, I think I need to read the instructions, because there's the charger there. Charge connection is right there. So I'll get to it and read the instructions and give these all a charge today. I also have a head torch as well. And then this evening, as it gets dark, I'll turn them on and show you how they perform. Established in 1996, 4X Overland is the world's first global overland expedition channel. Join us as we explore the world by four-wheel drive. Time now to test the torches. Right, now I've set the camera up on manual exposure so it doesn't automatically brighten. So what happens is if I make a comparison between the two torches, the camera will automatically adjust for exposure and they'll both look as bright as each other. And that's not going to tell us anything. The two I'm going to compare. This one is the Tiny Monster made by Nightcore, the 16 GT. It's no longer made, and I got this in, if I remember correctly, it was 2017. So that's how old that technology is, okay? And I'm going to compare it with the Marauder 2, which is my new beastie from OLIGHT. Now, I wanted to... The packaging on OLIGHT is really, really nice, and there are the instructions. You can't miss them, and you can pretend not to read them and still get away with reading them. So, but I want to read this. Right at the bottom here it says, please turn off the flashlight and make sure that this knob switch has been locked out if it is left unused, carried or transported. The heat build-up due to accidental activation may melt the lens of the flashlight, cause close objects to burn, or even result in unexpected disasters. Right, I get it. The other two that I'm going to compare, these are both more modern, more current models. This is the Nightcore, and I've had this for about a year now, the MH12S. It's rechargeable by plugging it in. It has multi-mode and is quite nice. Its biggest drawback though is that when it's dark and I turn it on, all right, and I want to change the modes, I can't feel the button with my finger. I need to turn on a light to work out how to adjust its modes. So that part about it I don't like, and I've been a bit frustrated with it because of that. I'm comparing it with the OLIGHT Seeker 3. The Seeker 3 has some kind of proximity sensor that will prevent it accidentally turning on and setting fire to you, which I think is quite a good idea. So let's get on with it. Right, the Nightcore. Now it is still light enough for me to see, not a lot of detail, and I've adjusted the camera so yeah, what you're seeing is close to what I'm seeing. It has a button at the back. There it is there, and I'm going to crank it up to its brightest setting. You see, I can't feel the button. I've got to look for it with my eyes. I cannot feel it with my fingers. Okay, there it is. That's the next brightness. Next brightness. Next brightness. And that's full bright. That's pretty impressive if you ask me. That really is impressive. So I'm going to turn that off. Now with the OLIGHT, there's a safety catch on it. It'll turn, and then I've got to rotate that 90 degrees for it to turn on. Right, there you go, it's on. That's its lowest setting. And it's very gradual. I'm turning it up to its maximum setting. There it is, the OLIGHT. The Nightcore. And right now, these two have been on for the same amount of time. the night core is already really quite warm, whereas the OLIGHT is getting warm, but there's a big difference in the temperature of the two. The night core is far hotter. And let's go and turn the night core off by, see again, I've got to find the knob. I can't see the knob, I can't feel it. There it is. All right, and let's turn it down to all the way up and off, and off, all the way up, and all the way to minimum. Now, the night core tiny monster that I nicknamed the Sun, it has 2 switches on it, and quite frankly I can't remember what's what. So okay, there you go. I'm not sure what I did. I think that's on turbo power. Yeah, I think so. That's flat out maximum. And if I click the other, there you go. And then turbo. There is a way of turning it on to turbo, and come on, there is a way of turning it on to turbo. You hold it in. Yeah, I've only had the torch for what's now 17, it's well over 5 years, and I still cannot remember how to use it. Right, now the OLIGHT. If I turn it on, just by turning it on, you'll see it giving me the battery indication on that side. And again, if I press it and I rotate it, it will turn itself on, I think. All right, that's its lowest setting. So I'm going to start with Broadbeam. Now there's a switch on here that allows me to decide whether I want Broadbeam or distance. It's actually overexposing the frame. So let's have another look at the tiny monster. Okay, I'm trying to get it to go into turbo mode. So if I hold that in, does it go into turbo mode? Yes, there you go, that's turbo mode. So you can see a very, very direct long beam as opposed to a very wide beam. Now I'm going to turn the OLIGHT onto directional beam. And look at that. Now that is very, very interesting, because it's a projector. My eye, the iris of my eye, doesn't dilate with the surrounding light hitting the trees. So the effect of that is that I get amazing distance. So in terms of pure brightness and light penetration, I think they're very similar. But the OLIGHT, because of this, will allow me to see further, because my pupils will not dilate unnecessarily because of background luminosity. And now if I turned it into that, I mean, that is just insane. It's absolutely insane. Now I'm not going to give you the different details of these torches in terms of price, exact lumens, because they vary. Maximum lumen is not necessarily the most important thing. It's the effectiveness of the beam. And you can look, if you can see the two here, when you see the size difference, the OLIGHT is, I would say, pretty well close to half the size, maybe a little bit more than half the size. And that's getting hot now. That is now very, very hot in my hands. The handle isn't hot. The handle's actually quite cool. But if I put that yeah, almost too hot to handle near the reflector. So I hope that is an effective way of comparing the torches, but particularly I mean, I've really enjoyed my time with Nightcore. Don't get me wrong, no product is perfect, but I thought a comparison between the two might be able to give you an idea of, you know, what's better and what might be more useful for you. I am impressed with both of these items. I am very, very impressed. The OLIGHT Obulb, we used it on the trip, but only as a light under the shower. Let me show you how it works. If I click the bottom, it remembers what color I left it at, and then returns to that color. And if I click it again, it goes through different modes. This is the multicolor mode, disco mode I'll call it, and that's now flicking between the colors. That's now flashing red. It appears to only be able to flash red. It's magnetic underneath, so I could then just, you can just put that underneath anywhere you like, and just press it. You just have to press it and it'll change the different modes. Now, comparing this to an absolute favorite of mine, which is the Nightcore LR10. The Nightcore is actually more versatile. It doesn't look as good. In fact, that's quite ugly by comparison. It's a lot brighter. That's significantly brighter than the Obulb. As you can see, that's a warm light, that is a colder light, and that is also magnetic. And it has a hook as well. Now, actually, as much as I like the Obulb, it's not as, it's cuter and it's beautifully made, not as versatile. So this is chargeable with a snap-on charger like that, which is more modern, actually a little more versatile, and you can actually power it permanently as well by just leaving it attached to the power. I will use both. I will use both. Headlamps. This is the OLIGHT Array 2S. It is really very, very nice, I think. There it is on my head. I'll give you a really closer look to it there. And if I remember the instructions clearly, I do that and it turns on. So let me tilt that right down so it doesn't blind you. And it has a system where I can make it brighter or not so bright. And I should be able to turn it off. It says if you go to the left it turns off, and if you go to the right it turns on. But this one goes brighter. Okay, not quite doing exactly what it says in the book. The button is reasonably easy to feel. To me, I like this one. This is one that my favorite. This is actually by Armitech. This is why I like it. When it's on your head, you just your hand automatically finds that big red knob. It's so easy to find. So you just put your head up there and you can change the modes. And this is also magnetic. And I don't actually need all these fancy things. I want one that where if I tell it to go duller or brighter, it will listen to me and do it without question. And then when I turn it back on, it will remember where I last turned it off, which is the same with this guy. It also remembers. But now, if I want to turn on the, if I turn that on, if I hold that in, that's going brighter. Okay, so if I hold it in, no, still not doing it. Do you understand my frustration with these? I now have to go back to the book again and work out how to use it. Now, I don't use these every day. If I was using it every single day, I would remember how to use it. But I don't. I use it now and again when I'm on a trip, and for me, it's too clever. I just want it to work. When I turn it on, it must turn on, and when I turn it off, it must turn off. That's all I ask for a head torch. And it's nice having the extra little features. I don't need it to flash SOS. Why would you need a head torch to flash SOS? Why? If you're flashing SOS, you're using a beacon, or not a head torch. Head torch is a tool that it's as if you're holding it in your hands. The trouble is with the strap on the Army Tech. This strap is rubbish. So they've supplied a very nice little torch with a rubbish strap, and that's 2 years, and it's now looking like that. So while I like this, the strap is rubbish. I also had the other one, don't know where it is, the little Nightcore one. The Nightcore one was also quite nice, very similar to this, but its trouble was that it has, I can't find it now. The trouble was that when you put your hand up the top to try and find the button, you couldn't find the button. Again, like that other Nightcore, the button didn't stick out. So you couldn't feel it. So you had to take it off your head, turn it towards you, press the button to the setting you want, and then put it back on your head. What is the use of that? So I learned to hate. That's why I can't find it. I don't use it anymore. So I'm hoping, because this is a better quality unit than the Army Tech unit. But so if I want to get this dull, so when I'm using a head torch, sorry if I'm rambling, if I want to use a head torch, 90% of the time I want it on the dullest setting, or maybe one up from dull. So if I turn that on, that is now not the dullest setting. So I'm going to try and set it on the dullest setting. Hold it in. No. No. There you go. Okay, it cycles far too quickly to be practical. So I will now leave that on that setting, and that will be for 90% of what I use it for. It will be on the dullest setting. And I would say that was perfect for eating a meal, and maybe I want it a little brighter, so I hold it in, I get a little bit brighter for if I'm doing a job of work or something like that. So now, if I want the bright one, let's try this again. Hold it in. No. Okay, double click. There you go. Double click, and now I can hold it in for the brightest. Okay, that's now double click. So yeah, maybe if I've used it a few more times, and you know, I can't give a good review on especially a head torch without actually using it on a couple of trips. So I am going to use it. The strap feels very, very good. It's rechargeable in the battery pack at the back here. The quality feels very, very nice, like the other OLIGHT torches. Whether it's going to be my favorite in the months ahead, we'll see. But now all of those products are now available. This video is going out just before Black Friday. If you go onto the links in the description, you'll see a link to my site and all of those products, the 4 products that I just reviewed, and there's a Black Friday deal. There's also a channel, so anytime if this is beyond Black Friday for you, use the coupon code in the description when you purchase. So click on the link, use the coupon and you get 10% off. And they give me a couple of dollars. So that it helps me out as well. Hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching. These videos are made possible by contributions from Patreons. Join our Patreon family now.